Okay, let's get started. So there is a lot to cover today, and I don't have all of the information on slides because when you hear what I'm going to talk to you about, you'll understand it wasn't practical to try and put the information on the slides. So first, I want to thank everybody for showing up today for the generational marketing part two. A lot of people had sent me messages thanking me for the last one and saying that they never realized how much information there was. And it is a lot of work. I mean, we say if you're going to treat network marketing like a hobby, it's going to pay you like a hobby. So with what I'm about to teach you, you really have to understand you need to pick the generations that you're going after. I know a couple of you said that you're just marketing to everybody, but that's almost like a fire hose, right? Like you're trying to put a fire out with a fire hose. And today we're going to drill down on these four generations, and you're going to understand why it's important that you don't use a fire hose approach. So let's talk about the benefits of defined objectives and strategies for your social media plan. The first thing is you want clarity. So the clarity is going to define the objectives and help you understand what you want to achieve and how you plan on doing that. Focus. Focus is really just a strategy to keep you focused on your goals, and it doesn't allow you to get distracted, which you can easily do when you're dealing with social media. If you're like me, the minute you go onto Facebook or Instagram, you start to wander. If you're going to use social media as a tool to market your collect direct business, you have got to stay focused. The next is efficiency. With a strategy in place, you can prioritize your tasks and you can allocate more time to what's going to really work for you. And then it has to be measurable. You have to be able to measure what you're doing. And that's going to be the key to this. So whatever metrics you're going to use, you have to figure out how you're going to look at your social media to see if it works. And then adaptability. If your strategy isn't working, you have to be able to change the strategy. And that's why this whole, really the plan of how you're going to do your social media is so important. Now, I want to review the generations again, just so that we all know who we're talking about. So you have the baby boomers. They were born from 1946 to 1964. Gen X, born 1965 to 1976. Millennials, 1977 to 1995. And Gen Z is anybody born after 1996. And I really hope that all of you really drilled down after the last training on who your market is, right? Because before the training, a lot of you were kind of making mistakes because you were using that fire hose approach and it wasn't really working for you. So let's talk first about the baby boomers and the demographics on this. So on Facebook, we all know that baby boomers are the fastest growing demographics. And then you have Gen X that's highly active. Millennials, a significant portion of the user base are millennials, and Gen Z is less active. So if you're going out to Gen Z, you're not going to find them on Facebook. So now I want to talk really about the key marketing objectives and strategy tips for each generation and how it pertains to your business and collect direct. First, let's talk about baby boomers. Your key marketing objectives. You want to emphasize the value of tradition and family heritage in collecting toys and comic books, appealing to the baby boomers' sentimentality. You want to highlight the nostalgia of reliving their childhood memories through iconic collectibles from their era. You need to position Collect Direct as a provider of cherished family heirlooms to be passed down through generations. And I think if you refer back to that magazine that we did, you'll see a lot of that is really a common thread throughout the stories that we wrote. Now, a few strategy tips. You want to organize your collections that specifically cater to baby boomers, their interest, their love of toys, and comic books from their youth. You want to utilize customer testimonials and storytelling to evoke nostalgia an emotional connection to specific collectibles. So again, you have to really take good notes here, and you're probably going to want to listen to this again because there's a lot of information and it's going to help you drill down on how you hit this demographics. Now let's talk about Generation X. The key marketing objectives. You want to position Collect Direct as a trusted source for high quality and authentic collectibles, appealing to Generation X's preference for reliability. You want to highlight the practicality and value potential of collecting sports memorabilia, toys, and comic books. And you want to provide valuable insights and expert advice on collecting trends and market fluctuations. Now let's talk about some strategies. You want to provide easy to follow guides for collectors, helping them find valuable items and make smart choices. You want to demonstrate Collect Direct's focus on genuine, high-quality products with clear descriptions, certifications, and origin details. You want to organize online workshops and expert-led sessions to educate Generation X collectors about collecting and maximizing value. Now, a lot of this information is going to be found right on the Collect Direct website. When Dave put up all the different items, there's a description, and you can see how authentic everything is. Now let's talk about millennials. The key marketing objectives for millennials on Facebook is to emphasize the storytelling behind each collectible to appeal to millennials' desire for authenticity and emotional connections. You want to leverage user-generated content and peer recommendations to showcase the value and appeal of Collect Direct's collectibles. And you also want to highlight the unique experiences and nostalgia associated with collecting sports memorabilia, toys, and comic books. Remember, the key to Collect Direct is you have all of these different categories that are curated for them right on the website. So all of that work has already been done for you. Now let's talk about strategy tips for millennials. You want to create engaging stories about collectibles past and meaning to capture millennials' curiosity. You want to promote user posts with hashtags and highlight collector stories to showcase our diverse collection. You also want to host online gatherings for collectors to mingle, letting millennials bond over their love for collecting. And we've talked about this before. As we grow the community, and it really is about community, that's where these strategy tips are really going to come into play for all of you. So you can't just, again, go out with a fire hose. You have to really be thoughtful in how you're going to promote the business. Now, Generation Z. We know it's less active here, but if you're going to use Facebook, you want to utilize visually engaging content and interactive experiences to capture Generation Z's attention and interest in collecting. You want to be positive with Collect Direct's platform for self-expression and individuality, offering unique and exclusive collectibles. Again, all this is in one place on Collect Direct website. You also want to leverage social media platforms, particularly, and we'll talk more about this with the Instagram and TikTok for this group. Now let's talk about strategy tips. You want to roll out special collections and exclusive releases to spark a buzz and urgency among the Gen Z collectors. You want to team up with influencers and share user posts to boost brand recognition and trust with this user crowd. And you might want to do some fun games like virtual hunts and challenges to make collecting more exciting and interactive. So when you talk about this, virtual hunts, right? So, and some of the stuff that I'm talking to you about, just when you take your notes, just Google it to get more information. But for the Gen Z, you really have to make this interesting for them. Let's talk about Instagram. So when you look at the demographics on Instagram, more and more baby boomers are getting involved with Instagram, but maybe most of them are just coming on Instagram to view content from family and they're looking at lifestyles. Generation X, they're present, but not very active. Millennials, this is where millennials go for their brand interaction, content discovery, and they favor stories and Instagram TV. So I know a lot of you are targeting millennials. This is where really the millennials hang out. And this is what you should be looking at most for millennials is Instagram. So let's focus right now on the baby boomers. So the key marketing objectives, if you're on Instagram for baby boomers, is to recognize their growing presence and that they're using this for family and to engage in lifestyle. So this might be a place that you're going to show maybe the nostalgia toys and how kids today are playing with the baby dolls that we had when we were baby boomers. You have to be creative. If you're going to look for baby boomers on Instagram, you have to be creative. You have to tailor your content messaging to appeal to the baby boomers' nostalgia, their leisure activities, their families, and how they cherish the things that they grew up with. You want to highlight the social and emotional benefits of collecting and emphasize the role of collectibles in fostering connections and preserving memories of baby boomers. And this might be an idea if a few of you baby boomers get together and really kind of look at doing a collage. Let's just call it a collage, where you're going to share different photos and different toys or comic books with that age group and start sharing it. You're going to have to be really creative with this group. So some strategy tips. You want to craft content that baby boomers can relate to, showing how collectibles enrich family time and leisure activities. Again, I think if a lot of you get together and share and kind of put a plan together, I think it will really benefit you on this. You want to use Instagram's targeting tools to reach baby boomers with content tailored to their interest and demographics. Tell stories and captions and descriptions to evoke nostalgia and encourage baby boomers to share their own collectible memories. Now let's talk about the Gen X. And remember, on Instagram, they're present, but they're not here that much. So you want to acknowledge that Gen X is present on Instagram, but tend to be less active compared to younger demographics. So you want to engage with brand content. You really want to push Collect Direct as a brand if you're going after Gen X. And you want to tailor the content messaging to resonate with Gen X's preference for authenticity, for quality, for nostalgia. You want to highlight the value and sentimentality of collectibles. And you want to provide information and educational content that appeals to Gen X. You know, they're interested in discovery, and so you want to position Collect Direct as a trusted source for anybody that's looking to get into the collectibles business. Now, some strategy tips. You want to create eye-catching content featuring nostalgic collectibles that remind Gen X of their past, sparking emotional connections. And for this, you want to use a variety of content types like carousels, slideshows, image galleries that suit the Generation X's different taste. And if you don't know what carousels and slideshows are, then you're not really doing Instagram. So this isn't for you. And you also, last but not least, you want to encourage customers to share their own content and testimonials. And remember the last time we talked about this, if you're going to post anything anywhere and somebody makes a comment on your post, you've got to answer it, and you have to answer it quickly. Don't let comments sit. The next thing we want to talk about is millennials. Again, this is the number one place for millennials. So you need to understand that this is their platform for brand interaction, for discovery, for stories, and for Instagram TV. So you want to highlight the emotional and nostalgic aspect of collecting with content storytelling that resonate with millennials' desire for authentic and meaningful experiences. And you'll hear that word authentic throughout the thread of all of this. That's the one thing that we can really feel comfortable about with Collect Direct. Everything Dave has is authentic. He didn't go down the street and have anything manufactured, right? It's all authentic. And that's really very powerful for what we're doing. Now, some strategy tips. You want to craft an Instagram strategy mixing promos, sneak peeks, and customer stories for brand loyalty. You want to use stories and Instagram TV for immersive content like collectibles categories and live sessions. So I don't know if any of you are doing live on Instagram, but if you're going after millennials, live is a very important thing to do. And you want to enable Instagram shopping for ease of millennial purchases, boosting convenience. So you really want to promote your website here. Next, we want to talk about Gen Z. And Gen Z is most active here also. So the marketing objectives is to recognize that Gen Z is the most active demographic on Instagram. Where I would have thought it's millennials, it's not, it's Gen Z. So you want to leverage the platform's features such as stories, reels, the TV to capture the attention of Generation Z users who prefer short form. So short form is, again, it's quick videos. It's not long videos. And I know some of you that are on here can be pretty long-winded. So when you're doing your videos for this age group, really for any of the videos that you're going to do, it's really short content. So let's talk about some strategies. You want to craft eye-catching content, showcasing Collect Direct's wide array of collectibles tailored to Gen Z love for visuals. So this age group really loves the visuals, and you want to make sure that the visuals pop. You don't want to be drab or boring in any of the social media posts. You want to try interactive tools. And here's something that I really want you to think about. Look at polls and quizzes to get Gen Z users involved and engaged. Again, if you don't know anything about that, I highly recommend that you Google it to find out how you do that. And you also want to look at partnering with Gen Z influencers to expand your reach and credibility into this demographics. The next we're going to talk about is TikTok. So let's talk about the demographics here. So you have Gen X and baby boomers. They're still a small fraction of the user base, but most of them are growing because they're interested in nostalgia, family-oriented content, and DIY. Millennials, substantial presence. They utilize TikTok for brand interactions and to stay up to date with trends. So this is a place, again, if you're going after millennials, you might want to look at TikTok. And Gen Z is the core demographics, and they're attracted to short form video content and creative expression. So let's drill down now on the marketing objectives and strategy tips for each generation, and let's focus on how it pertains to Collect Direct. Gen X and baby boomers, key marketing objectives. Acknowledge the growing presence of Gen X and baby boomers on TikTok. Although they represent a very small fraction, their user base is growing. So if one of your groups is baby boomers, you want to look at doing something with TikTok. And if you do so, you want to tailor the content to resonate with the life stages, interests, and preferences of both of these generations. And you want to focus on nostalgia, family-oriented content, do-it-yourself projects. You want to highlight the sentimental and social aspects of collecting, showcasing how Collect Direct's collectibles can enrich family bonding, evoke nostalgia, spark creativity. And again, when we look at this, I go back to the magazine. A lot of what we did in the magazine was to educate people on Collect Direct. And if you go back and you look at some of those stories, maybe it'll give you some ideas on how you can market through social media. Now, strategy tips for Gen X and baby boomers are relatable stories and themes to trigger nostalgia and emotions among these two groups. You want to connect with their memories, and we can do that so easily with toys and comic books and even with sports collecting. You want to offer DIY guides, and maybe you might want to do something where you create your own, box to put your the memorabilia that you're collecting. Come up with some ideas. Again, this is something for this community to figure out what can you do to push it forward to bring the DIY into the Collect Direct business. You want to feature collections on TikTok. So if you're doing sports cards, you want to be able to feature your collections to this age group. You want to interact personally with older audiences by responding to comments. Again, we're back to respond to the comments. It's so important. Now, millennials, again, they have a presence here on TikTok. So the key objectives here, you want to understand that they're here, and you want to use it for brand interactions and staying up to date with what's new. So every time Dave is going to do something on Collect Away that's going to have a crossover into Collect Direct, you want to really capitalize on that, right? So anything that Dave is doing, it's really to promote not only Collect Away, but Collect Direct. And I think as we go more down this path, we'll talk more about the best way to really use that content that Dave's generating to use it to benefit your own social media. And so let's talk about some strategy tips here. You want to customize the content to match millennials' values and interests, capitalizing on the uniqueness of Collect Direct's collectibles. I go back to one place for all the different categories. And you want to look to maybe partner with somebody that's an influencer on TikTok, somebody that you can align yourself with that's an influencer that can help boost your engagements. And you want to connect with followers through challenges, or maybe you do a Q&A session. You want to build loyalty with the community of millennials because they're looking for brand interaction. Remember, Collect Direct is a brand. Dave is creating a brand, Collect Away and Collect Direct. The next we want to talk about is Gen Z, and we know that this is the core demographics. So the key marketing objectives is to recognize that Gen Z hangs out on TikTok and they're looking for short form video content. You want to utilize trend-driven content that aligns with popular challenges, and you want to look at hashtags. So again, we haven't really drilled down on hashtags too much because that's a whole nother training. So in any of the social media that you're using, whatever hashtags you're going to put in your content has to be spot on for the message you're delivering and the generation that you're going after. And for Gen Z, you want to make sure that you're showcasing Collect Direct's collectibles, that it's visually appealing, and you want to leverage TikTok's video format to highlight unique features and storytelling. Again, this generation is about short videos, storytelling, and being dynamic. Some strategies: you want to use TikTok's features, duets, stitches, and live to engage users with Collect Direct. Again, if you aren't familiar with TikTok, then duets and stitches doesn't mean anything to you. You want to keep track of the trends and challenges in the collectible world and use them in a creative content to appeal to Gen Z. And really, you've got to stay informed on everything that's going on in the collectibles industry. And how you do that is just, for me, I Google everything. And I know that there's different online resources you can use to stay up to date on that. The last one we're going to talk about is YouTube. So let's talk about baby boomers. You know, baby boomers use a lot of YouTube to learn things. It's really a lot of DIY. They get their news there, nostalgic content. Gen X engages with content related to hobbies, news, and tutorials. Millennials watch videos for entertainment, how-to, and for product reviews. So again, if you're going after millennials and you want to use YouTube, you want to show them how they can benefit from joining Collect Direct as a collectibles business. Because a lot of that age group, they're looking for what we call side hustle, or right now it's a gig economy where people are looking for a side gig. Gen Z consumes a wide range of content, including music, gaming, and educational videos. So let's talk first about how do you market to the baby boomers. So you have to understand that they're there and they're using it every day, but mostly they're seeking informative and entertaining content that really aligns with what they're looking for. I know if you Google something, if you want to like a recipe or you want to figure something out, YouTube, everybody has YouTube videos. So you might want to start searching around YouTube to see what's out there in the collectibles world. Another thing that you want to do is create content that appeals to baby boomers' desire for nostalgia, storytelling, practical knowledge, offering tutorials, and collector spotlights. And remember, you have all that ability with what we have. Everybody's buying something every month. So do a short, you know, if you want to appeal to baby boomers, make sure that the video that you're putting up on YouTube is going to be attracted to that age group, right? Because that's what's most important. So some strategies for baby boomers is to optimize video titles and images to grab their attention. Use clear visuals and engaging messages to show the value of Collect Direct's content. And when we say that, you don't want to have really short, low-case fonts. Baby boomers, a lot of baby boomers are wearing glasses, right? So you want to make sure that the title tags that you're using, they're readable. And maybe partner with influencers or trusted experts that baby boomers really look to for credibility. And you want to encourage viewer engagement through comments, look at polls and surveys, inviting baby boomers to share their stories and memories about collecting. Again, think about that. If let's just say 5 of you want to get together and you're going after the baby boomers, what information can you build together? What type of graphics can you build and then share so that you're building a community for that age group? Let's talk about Gen X. So key marketing is to recognize that Gen X is there, but most of them are looking for their hobbies and nostalgic content. So maybe their hobby could become collecting with Collect Direct, and maybe they could learn how they could also earn an income with that. So don't sell yourself short on what you're promoting here. You're promoting the sales of the product, and also you're looking to recruit. And you've got to be really thoughtful in how you use all of this for recruiting purposes. You want to position Collect Direct as a go-to destination for Gen X. So they're going to go there looking for educational resources, product demonstrations, and insights. And you can do this very easily. If you want to pick one category, like say you want to pick comic books. Again, if you go back to the magazine, I didn't realize that the comic books, there were errors, right? So you had like different years that different classics came out with. So if you want to do comic books, go back and learn about the comic books and then teach the comic book stuff, right? Because people don't know that. A lot of people have no idea about all the different years and what came out with the comic books. So that's what that magazine was put there to educate all of you. So use that. That's a really good tool for you to use when you're looking at these marketing objectives. Now let's look at some strategies. You want to create playlists and series tailored to Generation X's interest. Organize content by theme or era for easy browsing. You want to use YouTube analytics to track trends and viewer demographics. And you want to build community through consistent uploads, live streams, and virtual events. One thing I want to touch on is what we talked about last, I guess our phase 1 of this training, is how often should you post. If you're going to really commit to this, you've got to commit to your posting. You can't expect people to follow you if you're posting once a week on YouTube, right? You need to really look at what we showed the last time, and you want to make sure that you're following those rules. Next, let's talk about millennials. The key marketing objective is to understand that millennials watch YouTube videos for entertainment, how-to, product reviews, and lifestyle content. So again, product reviews and lifestyle content, we have a lot of that here at Collect Direct. You want to be creative and informative and engaging in the content that provides value to the millennials. You want to offer them insights, tips, behind the scenes. You want to show them how Collect Direct can really give them everything that they're looking for, whether it's collecting a toy or sports memorabilia or getting involved in a home-based business. You want to position Collect Direct as a trusted source of information. And again, for collectibles and for home-based business. Some strategy tips. Use search engine optimization techniques to improve visibility among millennials that are searching for collectible content on YouTube. And the best way to do that really is go search yourself. Before you do anything on any social media, go search, put in keywords, look what's working. The second thing is you want to add personal stories to videos to connect emotionally with millennial viewers and highlight the social side of collecting. You want to encourage interactions by responding to comments. We're back to responding to comments again. Guys, it's so important. And last, we're going to talk about the Generation Z. Key marketing objectives. You got to recognize that they consume a wide range of content on YouTube. A lot of it's music and gaming and educational. but there's a lot of educational information you can give them about collectibles. Again, if you look at that first magazine that we did, there's a lot of information you can pull from. You want to create visually engaging and entertaining content that aligns with Generation Z's interest and preferences, incorporating elements such as music, animation, and interactive storytelling. This is where you can get really creative with how you're going to position Collect Direct with different videos. And you want to utilize YouTube as a platform to showcase Collect Direct's collectibles, highlighting their unique features, their benefits, and it will really resonate with this age group. And some strategies for Gen Z is you want to make videos that are mobile friendly and brief. Again, you don't want long content on these videos. And maybe look at partnering with somebody that's a YouTube influencer, because that's what really this generation trusts, these influencers. And you want to promote user engagement with challenges and interactive features in videos to build a community of Collect Direct on YouTube. Now, the last thing I want to go over is the 6 P's of social media failure. So prior planning prevents piss poor performance. So all this stuff that we just went over, it's really to show you what you need to do. What you need to do, I'm going to end this now. You've got to pick your four generations. You've got to pick 1 or 2. And after all this information, phase 1 and phase 2 of this training, if you just use the fire hose and you don't streamline and pick 1 or 2, and then really be cohesive in the message that you're delivering, it's going to get lost. There is no way that you personally can be effective to market to 4 generations. And I know some of you, the last time you said that you're just throwing stuff out there, you can't. You cannot just throw stuff out and expect every generation to really grab hold of it. Each generation uses social media differently. So if you're going to engage in social media, it's a commitment. You've got to put 5 to 10 hours minimum into this. And then you have to make sure that you measure what you're doing. And then if something's not working, change it. So that concludes my phase 2 of my generational marketing. I hope you guys got something out of it. I think you're probably all going to have to listen to it again because it's a lot of information. So thanks for everybody that's partaking in this. And thanks, Jackie, for getting up at 4 a.m. because I told you yesterday I thought you were crazy. So thanks, everybody, and have a good Saturday.
Thank you, Terri. That was so valuable. I got so much out of that. And it's so funny. I was watching a content influencer talk about how she had thrown some stuff out there. And she said, I realize now that when I put a information box on my content, you guys don't like it. And I don't know why. And you had mentioned about how the baby boomers can't read it, that your font has to be clear and that they can't see it. And she hadn't even thought about that. She just realized that the box wasn't working for her, so she wasn't going to use that in her content anymore. And you saying that just made everything make more sense to me. I'm going, because I know for me, if I'm looking at something on my phone, I need my reading glasses. So it's just so true. Like who you're trying to talk to is different how you're going to talk to them. So thank you so much. That was so valuable, Terri. I really appreciate what you did for all of us here. And everybody take that information, make your posts that much more focused and valuable. I think that the content was unbelievable. Terri, I wasn't sure how they were, like I know David said that possibly he was going to do some prizes today. And we kind of bantered back and forth a little bit about how we were going to do that and hadn't actually come up with a solution. So
so Dave has some random numbers he just put up.
Yes. And so I am not able to see the number. Do you have that? Terri?
Or I will post the numbers for everybody in chat.
It is. Oh, perfect. It's in the chat. Thank you, Ben. Pardon me. Sorry. So we have Sorry. Can you see the participants? Terry?
I don't.
Yeah,
no.
I'm not sure if I have that availability.
Okay.
Maybe you can put the names up there, Ben.
Ben, can you look at it? Because I can't see.
I can't see it either. I know this is just a new platform, guys, with a new number, and so we're navigating it ourselves. We maybe should have done like a run through, but I can't see the participants. So maybe Ben.
All right, our first
names?
winner is Craig Latson.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, Ben, let's hear another.
What was that? Sorry, give me just a minute.
Of course. We're all navigating this. It's new to all of us. And so thank you everybody for having some patience, but it's well worth it. The prizes that Dave gives are so incredible. And it's such a treat to get to share it with everybody. And I love hearing everybody's name and knowing who was on the call too.
Yeah. All right, our second is iPhone Mike.
iPhone Mike, congratulations.
And if you want to talk, you can come off mute.
Come on, iPhone Mike. Who are
Right.
you?
And our third winner is Michael Clark.
Michael Clark, congratulations.
Yippee!
Yeah. There's
Our
Michael.
fourth winner is Vicky Karshner.
Congratulations, Vicky Karshner.
Thank you. Very exciting.
And our last winner is Brianna White.
Brianna White, congratulations. Thank you everybody for taking time out of your Saturday and joining us. Thank you, Terri, for the wonderful content that you created for everybody. I think everybody is going to look at it differently. And like you had said, if you treat it like a hobby, you're going to get paid like a hobby. The recording will be out there for everybody. And if you weren't fast enough to write down all the things that Terri was saying, like me, I'm going, okay, was that Generation Z or was that baby boomers? You can go back, you can listen to the recording, you can make better notes, you can focus. Thank you everybody for joining us today on this Saturday.
Nance, if it was if a name was called, tell them to get a hold of support too and tell them that their name was.
Oh, well, there you go. Like Dave said, if you were a winner, get a hold of support at Collect Direct and they will be able to get all of your mailing information so Dave can get that out to you. And thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Thanks again, Dave, for bringing those wonderful prizes to everybody and the opportunity for all of us here. We appreciate you. And as we just said, this is a new platform. We're all getting used to it. And so hopefully we'll have it all sorted out for next Saturday when Dave is going to bring it to you again. The excitement. Thank you, everybody.
Nance.
Thanks.